Hello, and welcome to another horror review. I'm joined once again by Cameron and Adam as we conclude our journey along the filmography of Clive Barker. Today we're discussing Hellraiser. Released in 1987, the movie tells the story of a woman who discovers the newly resurrected, partially formed body of her brother-in-law. She starts killing for him to revitalize his body so that he can escape the demonic beings that are pursuing him after he escaped their sadistic underworld. The film was made on a budget of $1 million and brought in $14.6 million at the box office.
Not too shabby.
Jesus wept, we are here.
Fuck yeah.
Jesus wept.
Jesus wept.
So much good about this goddamn movie. And
Yeah.
there's just nothing. Maybe would be a good place to start. Is there anything that you don't like about this?
No. Even
I
the
don't like
old-
the way the Cenobites are easily thwarted. Considering the amount of
Closing the
gravitas they
box.
have and build up.
Yeah, but they're even like easily thwarted in the book. It's like, hey, I know where your homie is. Okay. But if he's not there,
You
I think
rascally
it's-
kids.
Yeah, but it's almost by choice. But in this,
Uh-huh.
it's when it comes to the crunch, they're almost a bit inept.
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking of it in terms of like how they tore Frank apart, I like to think of it in terms of they're just toying with her and she is slowly closing the box that she had opened. If it's so easy to summon them by opening the box, then it by logic seems like it would be easy to close the box and then they'd just be like, shit, we got to figure out another device. Like
right.
this whole Lemarcon box is kind of screwing us. Have we ever tried a
Yeah.
door? Anyone?
Right.
Yeah, it's
You
like
ever see the gate? Just make a big hole in the ground. We'll just climb out of it with our clay demons.
It's like
Yeah,
less
absolutely
time
terrifying.
posing, folks, and get down to business.
Mhm.
You know, sorry, fucking Facebook decided not to work there. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Facebook, it's being stupid.
What
Well,
is
it
Get
always
another
is.
pop up of
I
that.
know it.
Oh.
You'd be surprised, actually. The time I don't stream, people complain. Like, last night the Twitch stream went down, and I had people going, "You're not on Twitch." I'm like, well, so I had to come over to YouTube as if it was a massive migration.
Yeah, you're not just like clicking
I-
a button. They're
Yeah,
like,
I don't
have to
understand
travel."
people having such an issue with changing platforms. It's
Ah.
not that inconvenient. Or it's really inconvenient. I don't know.
Welcome to 2023.
Yeah, I don't know, man. People are like dying for fresh water, and we're just like, I have to go to a different website.
Oh, the horror!
Yeah, it's ridiculous. People can't find fucking food to eat, and we're just like,
Talking of which, if Frank Cotton had the internet,
oh yeah,
would any of this have happened?
hell no. He would have been
Listen-
like going to the dark web and doing some nasty shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is definitely a pre-internet movie.
But I don't know. I've always loved the idea because, you know, with the internet, you can get some nice visual stimuli and stuff, but it's nothing like the tactile sensation of actually being with someone. And then compound that with like just like the nerve endings and the pain and just the pleasure all at once. Like,
Right.
I think he still would have gone through it.
So,
Probably
it's going
would
to
just would have
happen,
found
right?
it
We
easier.
have
Mhm.
the flashlight. We have VR.
What?
The Wankatron 3000 is just a development away.
Mhm.
The Wackatron 3000. We can dream. I dare.
And
I feel like
there's
that's why I should
thousands of
cover
Twitch
this up
spots
with his whack.
right at the service. Like
That would be
people,
great.
you think about it. You attach the electrodes in the right place, and you hit your whatever the tip thing is on the thought, and you're just a nipple tweak away from bliss. And
Just a vibrating mass of pain and pleasure.
yeah, that's just
You're not selling me on it.
the components are there. They just need somebody to put them together.
I mean, that was Hellworld, right? We've done this with the the Hellraiser Hellworld. That was good. Ish.
God, I'm
It had Henry Cavill in it, dude.
Yeah.
That
The
was-
thing is, I watched this last week, and then I accidentally got as far as Inferno
Mhm.
because you just can't. You're just like,
Slope, man.
I know I'm not meant to, but I gotta keep going.
It is hard because it's like going back to an abusive relationship. Like, you're just nice enough to where you didn't call the police, but you feel dirty when you're with them.
I like all the sequels. They're all horrible, and I love them all for different reasons.
They've all got their own thing about them. You have to have an appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
The weirdest one was it? Yeah, it was Inferno, the one with Schaefer, you know, the guy who plays Boone out of Nightbreed.
Yeah,
that was a weird movie.
I'll be honest, I don't know if I've seen that one. I need to change that.
There's some really weird ones. When Doug Bradley stopped playing Pinhead, and they just sort of had that standing guy, he did like 2 of them, I think. Those were way low budget, just so the studio could keep the license.
Mhm.
But there's still elements in it.
You're talking thousands. You're talking about maybe less than 10 grand a movie.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, they're so interesting though, because like there was one at the very
Fat
end.
Pinhead was horrendous. But the other guy that was in Revelations actually had a chance. Yeah, but they were strange.
That Pinhead. I liked all the Pinheads. I like Doug Bradley, of course, is Pinhead. The other ones, I just imagined they were like the cousin of Pinhead. They're like Pinhead's dirty uncle or something. He was like Pinhead's Frank. I was just like, ooh, that's a weird choice for an actor. Like, he doesn't look anything like him. You can't just put pins on someone's head and have it be Doug Bradley.
Right.
Like,
And the thing is, you didn't have to have Pinhead.
No.
Right.
That's
That's
you know what I mean?
whole,
You could,
yeah.
like, they had a chance with Bloodlines. I know we're gonna all, but you know what? This is the last of the series.
Bloodlines.
Yeah,
Right, this is the last of the series, so we can fucking just go crazy.
Yeah.
But Bloodlines had a chance because we had the introduction of Angelique, and
so
even
good.
brought it in. Yeah, so there was a chance of a new character, new hierarchy. Doug Bradley stepped down. You didn't have to have Pinhead again.
Yeah.
It was just he was never Pinhead. It was always lead Cenobite.
Well, the thing is, there was actually a script being made where it was her ultimately continuing the line, like she became the new Pinhead.
Well, she was a princess of hell,
and it's like,
so
why didn't we get that?
That was a brilliant movie. Apart from that, why did they fall out? Because they were both working together. Like, I don't know where I'm still watching it, going, "Where's the fallout here?"
I don't know, man. I have to watch.
Just randomly happened for no reason, so that she could.
Well, no, he was she wanted to progress, and he was just happy being stagnant and just indulging in whatever bullshit he was indulging in. But she wanted to progress hell and like continue the sort of torture and stuff, as I remember it anyway.
They were both doing the same thing. It just the conflict just randomly happened. That's the problem with the movie.
I mean, that's just
with no context
in general.
Yeah, I might have added my own like little in-universe explanation.
If you're a logical thinker, you naturally try and fill in the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
You just try and go, this doesn't make sense. I need it to make sense, and you try to, put bits in. But it was just a case of, and I think we know by now, studios, they're fucking knuckleheads, and we try to give them more credit than what they deserve.
I don't know about studios. I try to give the writers more credit than they deserve.
Yeah, but then a studio can
because
they need that to happen, and then the fucking and throw something in. So they can have the right script, and then studio comes in and goes, shiny, and then you get the fucking post-edit abortion.
Then you get the Marvel series.
You know what? There's a thing. You can hate in these movies all you want, but look at fucking modern movies.
Yeah.
These are jabs.
Yeah.
At least some attempt has been
made. This movie, aside from like the hairdos and the clothing choices, like this movie is timeless.
Yeah.
Like that's something that it just can't seem to be created these days. Either it's nostalgia porn or a hyper version of modern time. And it's just like, whatever happened to just not having a time frame, just letting the story exist within its own universe.
Yeah, this is one of those great stories that it transcends a genre. It's a
Mhm.
monster flick. It's a haunted house flick. It's a supernatural horror flick. It's a mystery flick. Like this thing is like every element of horror, and it's not even trying. It's just
Mhm.
like this is the story. We're not trying to inject other, versions of horror into it. It's just this is what it is, and you just have to accept it. And it's amazing in every
Mhm.
aspect of it. Like just the opening scene of the creature effects of Frank coming out of the floorboards because he came on them and then
Because,
blood was
yeah.
dripped on it.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
funny thing
no,
is
no.
I never
It
realized
wasn't-
how close the book was, or the film was to the book,
Yeah,
minus the spunk turning into the dude.
yeah. That was the thing,
Bloop,
though.
bloop.
Would the I don't know if the book being translated into the film would have worked.
Without
think
If
it
it had to
pretty
have been
much
like this was already banned in Canada,
I didn't know
yeah,
would
but
have
I
come
mean, this is Canada in the 80s. Like,
that.
you say a bad word and they're like, "Oh, hey, buddy." None of that now.
now they're tryhards trying to fucking out Yankee Yanks. It's funny.
Yeah, I feel like without the proper setup of having, like, why is there a puddle of cum in the middle of the floor? Like, without having that setup, it wouldn't make sense. But I did like I never
Isn't
realized
that everyone's house?
that is literally everyone's house.
Hang on, Lifter.
If you think you don't have a
Sorry, I
pile of
dribbled
spunk
before we
somewhere, you're
started.
full of shit. Oh damn it! What was I going to say? I don't remember.
Without the proper
See
setup.
how many more times I can say "come."
I mean, you were talking about the translation of it with that as an element, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's funny because I never realized as Frank's coming up, like he, of course it's his flesh, reattaching to his body and stuff, but it's like, wow, now that I know he actually came from cum, he looks like he's covered in cum.
he's just glazed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it looked like. Huh.
We all
He
could
He
have
was
been
there.
He was a bit sticky, you know what I mean?
Sometimes you just get a little drunk and it gets sloppy and you forget to clean up. It, whatever, it happens.
You wake up and you start getting flashbacks. How did this happen?
Why aren't my eyes opening?
Oh no! Oh god!
But Frank is the classic example of like compulsion instead of indulgence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Fucking, if you beat it too much, then you stop getting the sensation. You gotta leave it alone for a day or two. At least fucking give
A
the
day is a
nerve endings a
couple of
chance to.
hours.
Yeah. Your refractory period is way too long.
He's old, Adam. Don't bring it up.
Yeah, that's maybe that's the problem. That's why I do silly things and like get involved with people I shouldn't, because
That could
yeah,
be it.
you've just explained my entire life. I wasn't expecting this to be actually a useful episode, but there you go. Just slap it about a bit more
Therapy
then.
deep
in the
already.
Beat it numb. Get out of trouble.
Oh,
I can respect Frank.
thanks for tuning in, folks.
This is our last show ever as we get banned.
I mean, really, how can we top beating it numb?
I mean, hold my beer.
We're
Let's
gonna
see
try.
what we can do. We're still
Still
early in the
movie to actually talk about.
yeah.
But that's our. This is the classic Barker though as well. The cinema is like, we can't fucking put this in movie film.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to go the gore direction because the other side's the fucking kinky whips and chains, and got the chains in, but they had to kind of dial everything else back because they just couldn't. It would just be an X-rated movie.
Well, just
I don't know,
imagine
man,
like
all the fingers in the mouth, like that shit.
yeah.
That's pretty good for me.
They changed this from, if you just go by the novella, it had some really sort of lurid stuff early on, but
Mhm.
after that, it was all pretty standard.
Mhm.
You compare that to the film, they made it into something that was way more kinky than ever existed. Like not just the fingers in the mouth, Kirsty being the daughter, and it turns into this pseudo incest skin wearing thing that
Yeah.
was never in the novel. Like they just added all of these sensations into it and then getting the visual impact of the scars and the body's modification and everything, that adds a whole other element that has never been on film up until that point.
Yeah, and the thing is, in the novella, they revealed the Cenobites. I mean, there's a discussion in the meeting, and he's saying, was there not meant to be 5 of you? So there's actually a discussion taking place, and you get the full reveal of the Cenobites, where in the movie, which I think they did cleverly, was they held them back.
Yeah.
So we'll get the chains appear, ripped apart, and we'll get a brief look at the Cenobites, just enough to know that they're there, and then they disappear again, and then we don't see them basically until 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Yeah.
And it's not about the Cenobites as such. It's Frank trying to, oh shit, I need to get the hell out of here. Should they've played a bit more with the portal? Now, I know they do it in part 2. With Frank looking in, because the blood reawakens part of him, connects into the real world. The whole I'm in hell, help me, would see that in part 2, but should have maybe played that a bit in part 1, or would that have just been less efficient storytelling?
I don't think it was
If
necessary.
we need him to get straight into the plane so that the story gets started, would that have maybe dragged it a bit too long?
Possibly. I feel like it would be adding another element to the movie that wasn't 100% necessary. Because, I mean, that is one of the things with pretty much anything that's supposed to be scary. Like, the less you see, the more effective it is. So when we get just like the flashes of the light coming from behind the wall boards and stuff, like that,
just like Colin's room right there.
To it. What's that?
Just like Colin's room right there, the light coming through the
yeah. I mean, I think that's why we're all here. Is he found the configuration?
It's the bell.
He's just bragging now. But yeah, I feel like it just would have been unnecessary and not really added anything to it.
I think the strength of this story is that it is an intimate portrayal of a woman who doesn't love her husband at all.
Oh, and
has this fantasy about her brother-in-law, and just that connection. Like it starts off with Frank, but the story is all Julia. Like every bit of it, and that's what I think is so great about it, is because it's this intimate, familial, sort of incestual like desire that she has for her brother-in-law, that she can't even understand anything outside of it, and she's willing to do anything to get it back. Just that one moment that's paralleled by Frank's journey, and then of course Kirsty's unraveling of the story as sort of us, she's our window into the actual reality of everything. But if they would have focused on just the supernatural side of it, it would have been a Nightmare on Elm Street. It would, something like that, instead of this really impactful story first, and then exposing the visualizations and everything later. I mean, it's so fucking good.
What's funny is, like, that's so obviously the story. I never got that until I read the book. Like it was always just, it was Kirsty's perspective. Because obviously that's, like you said, that's our perspective into this intimate story. But yeah, after I read that, watching it again last night, it was like, holy fuck, this is a completely different movie than I remember.
One thing it does bring across, because it's definitely in the novella, is this unhappiness. And it's this unhappiness that drives people to go to these extremes. It's a weird dynamic as well. Kirsty and Larry, like, never once does she refer to him as dad in the book.
It's not. It's
and it's almost like
a friend.
Yeah, that was kind of my assumption. Was
and
a friend.
There's almost no love between them. Where the Kirsty in the movie is much more relatable. The Kirsty in the novella is not a nice person. That's the impression I got anyway. It's just maybe because they're all indifferent to each other. Where in the book she's like daddy and loves, there's open affection and that, but in the novella there's none of that. So there's no love between father and daughter. There's no love between husband and wife. There's no love between brothers. And it's then coming that they're all looking to fill a gap
Mhm.
And then Frank obviously goes to look through, pushing pleasures to the limit. I found a nice wee term, hedonic adaptation.
That sounds all fancy.
What's
It
that?
is.
Webster's
It just
dictionary.
it basically means you beat it numb. It's you if you indulge too much, where it stops being a treat. So if you have pizza and fries every night, it's not a treat.
Yeah.
Mm,
If every
I would argue
if every
that
time you drop your pants, it's for an orgy, then you can't have, one-on-one's not really doing it for you.
Right.
It's
right.
you do it that often, it becomes a norm,
Yeah.
and then you've nothing to stimulate you, so that's when you have to go to the next plateau because you've overdone it,
Okay,
and you
so
haven't learned to dial back.
Just
Right.
out of curiosity, what would be the next plateau for pizza and fries? Just asking for a friend.
Cinnabites, obviously.
All right.
I think it's going to start putting pineapple and made
Oh man, it's shit. I don't give a fuck. I eat pineapple on my pizza already.
So yeah, I don't give a shit. But I just,
I never thought about this before, but do you think this story could not have come out of any other generation than the Decade of Decadence?
Not at all.
Like you were saying, no love between anyone in the novella. It's just about heightened pleasure and getting to that next pleasurable step. This is a very like a drug user's allegory.
Well, that's
So
that's the same thing. Had it the drug user, the first heroin hit is amazing because that's when it's binding initially to all the fucking brain receptors.
Yeah.
So the second hit is never the same because the connections have already been made. So it's only binding to what's left, and then it's a hollow experience, and then they're always chasing the same high, but they're never going to get it.
Yeah. That is literally the story. So I don't think this could have happened at any other time. It was just like this confluence of popular culture with just the depression of where he came from and the world that he was sort of brought up in that fed this entire story.
Tried to do Hellraiser. Was it last year or the year before?
I think it was last year.
And it was fucking meh.
Yeah, it was meh.
It was just.
It even went literal with the drug analogy.
Yeah, the fucking hobo girl.
Didn't really land though.
No, it was so flat. It was empty. It was just not, nothing. We can stick this on and gush about it like in 10 years' time. No bother.
Yeah.
That thing I couldn't even bear to stick it in the,
Yeah, I never bothered with it.
I couldn't bear to go back. It's just like, nah, I've done it. Nah.
It's frustrating because that is also a film of its time. But I would argue that
like 6 months, it's already aged.
But that's our point, is that like referencing something from the 80s, you get that visual, obviously 80s era, the hair and the clothing and stuff. But the storytelling of the 80s is solid. Storytelling nowadays, especially with that remake of Hellraiser, they're like, well, let's just have a trans actor because that's what's happening in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start from a premise of hollow storytelling because it's not about the character or the actor. Yeah. It's about finding a type of individual to cater to a type of expected audience.
And then they tried to do the whole, what they've done with every other franchise is, oh, if you don't like this, you're a, blah, blah. And like, fuck off if you're Ed Barker.
Right?
You know what I mean? It's like, wrong crowd. Go away.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? Your movie fell flat because it was shit. In fact, it wasn't even shit. It was boring.
That is definitely the funny thing.
We can go back over the bad Hellraisers and have a laugh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is just like...
That is interesting, too, because the worst Hellraiser, I think, is still better than the newest one.
I can imagine. Well, it's because there was a soul to it. There was a reason for it. Might not have been perfect, but the passion is still there, and you can still appreciate it because of that. Like, you can feel that coming through.
Yeah, where that was just a soulless, empty, fucking whatever. Like, even them trying to stir the drama up was a sense of desperation because they knew it just had something crap. And that's all been forgotten about because the thing came and went and busy being forgotten about.
Yeah, for sure.
Fart in the wind, you know.
And well deserved too.
Yeah, even Frank's cum fucking has lasted longer.
Yeah.
It really did when you think about it. That thing just has
Still-
lingering. It's viscous.
Yeah.
Just add a little moisture and it starts to sprout again.
So gross. I still love like that part in the novella at the very, very beginning where it's describing the jars of urine and the dead birds.
The
and,
offerings,
like,
yep.
yeah, it's so visceral and so thrilling. You know, I fantasize and have this really great connection to sort of like the Satanic Panic era of like Satanists in the woods
Behind
summoning
every bush.
demons and killing creatures, and you know, like I love that occult.
Here's the bit about the
imagery.
Satanic Panic I can't get my head around still. The baby sacrifices.
Yeah, that's a lot of effort.
How do the mechanics work of having all these chicks fucking pregnant, right? The pop every weekend, because these were happening. Apparently, these baby sacrifices were every fucking weekend, right?
Mhm.
Right.
How the hell did the logistics work to have all these pregnant girls fucking all lined up that they just popped at the right time? The fucking that does not make sense.
Well,
fucking-
the stork
Ugh.
delivers the baby, and then you eat it. What? I don't understand what you're not getting.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
you
straightforward.
just get them all
Storks deliver
pregnant in
them.
that fucking time that it all happens every just
You just have to
revenue
put your
and-
order in, you know, a couple of weeks in advance.
because
and they'll
that's
get you.
that easy, yeah. And
Yeah,
they
it
can see that
is that easy. Well, I mean, it's no
Right.
further of a
they
reach
found the
than having
babies, the
tunnels
fucking
underneath
Magdalene, right?
nurseries that nobody
In
knows
the
about.
Irish Republic, they found the fucking babies that they were throwing down the well in the Magdalene laundries. That all came to fucking light. We're still waiting for all these fucking babies, you know, from the Satanic Panic that we're fucking getting like, not just one place. Every fucking town had a satanic cult.
Yeah.
There was a satanic cult hiding behind every fucking bush.
Yeah.
And every weekend, the baby was getting sacrificed behind every bush in every fucking town, everywhere. And none of these skulls and fucking the leftovers, not even a hint of it. You know,
Well, that's
Well,
why
it's
it's so
because baby
transparently
bones
dumb.
can be ground up pretty
it's same as
easily.
today. A fucking all right Nazi hide
Yeah,
behind every
they're-
bush. No, it's fucking
not
people
as
are
strong.
stupid.
I want to address Chris's question because I think it's a great one. Why do you think the Hellraiser movie was
Sorry,
good?
well, I forgot about. I'm sorry, I'm not doing my due diligence in the chat.
Yeah, I should.
Sorry,
realized we
folks, we
didn't
might
have a
forget
comment.
about you because this
Or-
is you can turn up you want. This is our time, you know.
This is our time now. He did have other ones like our last one, Candyman. I mean,
Yeah.
amazing.
Tell me that wasn't fucking successful.
I mean, just incredibly amazing. And even, you know, some of his older stories, you know, they're just sort of like Midnight Meat Train. It was flawed, but I still enjoyed it.
Mhm.
But that
Like,
was
it had
that
real
wasn't the
promise to it.
story. That was Bradley Cooper and dodgy CGI.
In either case, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And it's one of those that I would watch again. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
I
when
wouldn't
you
watch
think
Rawhead
what that was
Rex
taken
again.
from
Exactly. Yeah.
17 pages. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So I think it has everything to do with the stories are great. It's just how they're translated and whether it's accurate to Clive Barker's intention or whether it's the director's intention. And that's
Yeah.
what makes a good or bad one.
I feel like what we need to do is start nudging Mike Flanagan towards Barker's
Oh,
properties,
dude.
because if anybody could pull off like one of my favorite Barkers, which is Cold Hard Canyon, it would be
Oh, he
someone
would
like
do it.
Flanagan.
He has his whole cast of actors to bring back into it, and it would be
Yeah, man.
dope.
That would be amazing,
Oh, Henry Thomas in that'd be great.
right?
Or the
But we can wait
Damnation.
until after the Dark Tower series because he should really focus on that first.
Yeah, don't distract them. We don't want another Dark Tower movie.
Don't leave
Yeah, we do want
No,
another
we
Dark
don't.
Tower
Shut up.
movie.
You don't know anything.
I don't know anything.
Sorry.
fight,
Anyway,
fight,
as
fight.
we're- sorry, we were saying.
Shocking abuse of power. I'm gonna watch it.
Dude,
A
it's
100%.
the
It's
thing
Flanagan.
is, if anybody could do Dark Tower, it's Flanagan. Like listening to that man gush over that series and just King in general, yeah. I would put all my money on that. That
And
horse.
not everything he's done is great, but it all has good elements to it,
Mhm.
you know. So I don't know. In any case, I'd love to see him come to Clive Barker world
Mhm.
and see what he has to say about it. But I don't know. I mean, as far as Hellraiser is concerned, did you think that Julia, her actions were believable? All predicated on having one great night of sex.
I mean,
I'm going back to some of my life
if
choices.
it's good enough, it'll make it stupid.
If you're, yeah.
I've been in some dumb relationships.
Colin's all, yeah, that tracks.
I'm just let's not talk about me here. We've all been through that journey. That wasn't fun.
Yeah, we could just ignore that part.
I just, that's the
Well,
only
it's back
part
to that
that
fill in
if
the
I'm being
void, isn't it?
critical, it's not. That's the only part that I'm just a little bit like, I don't know.
See, the thing is, it in the book, it makes it more believable.
The Julia character in
The
the film,
context
they're
of the book
completely
was
different.
more in this. I think it would be a lot more believable.
Right.
I think it was the look that you can't reconcile. Julia is so in the book, she's not as preen and prissy as she is in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bit you can't reconcile. She's a bit more passionate in the book of a person.
Seems like it.
And frustrated. In the movie, she comes across as so uptight.
Mm-hmm.
But then maybe that's what it is. She's so uptight, and then Frank unlocks something in her that's always, because they jumping ahead. We've got part 2, and we see Julia. Julia is a fucking wildcat. Let's be honest.
I like Julia in the sequel infinitely more than the first.
Oh yeah, it's just like
she's amazing.
But this is, I think that's what it is. There's something inside, let me out.
Yeah,
and that's she wants to do these things. She just needed permission.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
And Frank gave her
That's
permission.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think what it was the stiffness of the way she would portray him. But then when we see her in part 2, like this is, if I had seen a bit more of that in this one, I think it would have been more believable. It was just the stiffness of the character.
Yeah.
Just made it hard to reconcile.
Yeah, I always had a hard time accepting the level of beauty that is supposed to be emanating from her. She's a beautiful one. I'm not trying to take anything away
but once
from her.
again, it's
supposed to be Julia, she's supposed to be like super haughty, not even like so far above and beyond her man.
Yeah.
That everyone looking at him, they're just like, whoa, how the fuck did that happen?
But 80 shoulder pads.
But 80s shoulder pads.
Yeah,
happen.
man, that's one thing I'm
man.
glad never really came back.
Don't invoke it.
Don't say it 3 times.
Yeah, that's it. Don't mention it again. It'll happen.
Everything else is coming back. Why not?
Yeah. Dear, today's young ones, I just they would actually make them worse. They would actually manage to make those things worse.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And I dread it.
Yeah.
What she's pictured in the novella and this, they're completely different. You just can't see it happening. But then again, is that not part of the fantasy as well as being played out here? The middle class, stiff, it's Lady Chatterley's lover sort of thing,
right?
Kind of being brought to its 80s torture porn sort of scenario.
Let's talk about torture porn a little more. Yeah, I mean that's totally fair. That's definitely it. And she plays the role well. I think all the actors and actresses in this film, I think, do a great job, especially with the source material, especially the fact that she doesn't even like horror films. Like she can't even watch it. So to be able to like, what's that?
I was just saying that's funny.
Yeah. She walked out of the screening like 20 minutes in or something because she hated it. So,
oh man, that's fantastic.
It's like, but she did it, and she did a
But
good
she
job.
came
Like
back for another one.
her with the
second
blood
one
on
was
her
more
face?
brutal, and she was the fucking
Yeah. She must have gotten over it.
Yeah, I think something got unlocked inside her because everyone got this.
For real.
That was legit. So the
was
first
probably-
one,
Yeah,
was
somebody
the
was,
actress fighting against us.
Doing some of this shit to her box, and it opened up. So and she's like, "Fuck it, I'll do a sequel."
and I'm going all in. Like fucking for somebody who hates horror, fucking, like that's don't forget part 2 happened.
Yeah. No, it's so good. Part
I actually see those as one movie. I think that's why I keep diving into because it's such a
Oh, really?
yeah.
I mean, it's intended to be. It's
Mhm.
just sort of the second part. I hold number 1 up on this pedestal. I don't even know if it's realistic or not, but it is like that sort of de facto horror film that it just not just checks all the boxes, but it ticks all of my weirdness. It's like I don't know. I don't know if I could create. It's certainly not commercially successfully, but I don't think I could create something that is as weird as everything inside my head on screen, like Barker just did, and have it be so good and just hold up so well.
This is lightning in a bottle, and I
Yeah,
think that's
great.
why all the sequels like have been some form of disappointment.
Mhm.
Because this was it. This was a nexus point in storytelling, filmmaking, book adaptation, you name it. This is what every creator, what every author dreams of bringing into being,
Right.
horror or not. This is what to happen, and for him it did, and then everything after just kind of went. We've watched his bitching sessions. There's a reason why we held this movie to the last.
Yeah.
And we didn't
this
go
is
in chronological
perfection.
order, because it would have just been a fucking, start off in high and a range of disappointments
Mhm.
that were like, we strategically picked the movies in the series. By the way, folks, on the channel, there's a playlist created now, Clive Barker. So if you want to
Oh, nice.
go right back over all our ramblings,
Revisit all of our intellectual examinations.
Yes, especially Rawhead Rex. Definitely watch that one. No bitching at all.
no. We love that. That was
Such a weird movie.
Yeah.
God.
But that's what I mean. This is the epitome. And when you start off strong like this, you can't really go any higher because
Mhm.
other people have tried and nobody's been able to do this, replicate it, or do anything similar.
Mhm.
Let's be honest. It also sits there uncomfortably because they're so it's holding back as well.
Yeah.
And he held back just enough to get it in the only got a ban in Canada, which I think's
What the fuck is going on?
that's my dickhead neighbor fucking drilling again.
For really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I
thought it
was
was
like,
like the
man,
end of
is
the
there like
world.
some Gregorian chants in the background? Are we getting
One day,
ready to
no.
watch this?
By the way, if I ever disappear, I'm in prison because I've fucking finally had enough of that cunt.
Heard it here, folks.
I thought it was like War of the Worlds or something.
No, he's a fucking arsehole. He went quiet for a few months and finally had some bliss, and then he fucking started up again.
He
He's
just has
moved
a board that he just drills in.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, my neighbor's doing this.
Yeah. Fucker. Oh, there's one time he's been at 10 o'clock at night. We were fucking playing role-playing game, and it's like,
What the what is he doing?
I don't know. He forgot to put the.
Who drills like that? He's just like
Must have
See, even
been the
I
cat that
like
was
I've
putting
put up a
the
couple of
walls
shelves
next
and stuff
door
and
to
put
the
a shower screen and stuff. I was like, zit them over.
Yeah. Does he just has he's like making Swiss cheese models. That's what he's doing.
Probably.
100%.
Fucking idiot.
This fucking guy.
I can't even hear his voice. I hear his voice and I just have fucking rage,
Black Ray.
One day he's going to speak to me in the street and I'm just going to like, doof, straight in there. Anyway.
Sometimes people just need one of those.
I'm trying not to
I just
blush.
imagine you grabbing him on the street and just making this drilling sound. No! And he's just like, what the fuck is happening? He's like, I have an Etsy store. What? Poor fucking dope.
Anyway. Yeah, let's move back to the movie, right? You can't replicate this. It's just a combination of elements,
Yeah.
aesthetics, storytelling and hinting and not going too far in that it went over the edge for to be unpalatable for the audience, especially at the time, because now I would look back and go, that's so cheesy, but back then it was groundbreaking. You're not going to get that again.
Really, the only part, and I don't want to say it doesn't hold up, because it does. It's just sort of a product of too high of definition for something that wasn't supposed to be seen that high definition, is the part where
you argue with me when I said 4K upgrades are not always the best.
No, I agree. They're not always.
We've had this discussion before. You're like, no, it's fucking everything should be 4K.
No,
4K, nothing. You're like, fucking,
I mean, it's funny,
right? I'll go back. Right,
but it's not always good. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely point it out to me, because I don't always agree. Like, look at fucking like the best example of high def is a bad idea for all movies is fucking Flash Gordon, which is already a bad movie to begin with. But like the only part that doesn't hold up is the very, the hooks in the face. You just get that like, that's clearly latex.
Yeah. Fucking latex.
I don't mind. I like practical effects. So
I love
it's always in your head. It's fake.
So. You don't have the camera grain height. Don't forget, use the camera grain was part of the effect.
Oh yeah.
But dum-dums today who could digitize everything, and the don't look in front of them. Go, maybe not. Maybe maybe filter.
I mean, the perfect example is the original Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
You can't watch that in modern remastering because it's horrible. Like, it is just horrible. But the story, the actors, like, everything comes together to make it worthwhile. Same thing with this. I mean,
another one is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, that was a dark, gritty movie, but you get that all cleaned up and properly colored and shit.
Camera roll was the whole point of it.
So
that sort of almost you almost feel the shudder of the 1970s camera. Yeah. That was part of the effect. But you get some fucking 22-year-old in Southern California who does this shit, who doesn't have a clue about life. I've done it. It's just like my PS20. Did I do a good job? Yes. Can I have my participation trophy? Yes. And they don't get told, they don't get slapped in the head, told, fucking, what are you doing? Look at that. Put a filter over it.
Just grab them and do the drill sound in their face.
Yeah.
Every time somebody fucks up, burr, burr, burr.
I find that so funny, that image. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
I don't want to do that to somebody now.
I know. What would they do? They would just be like,
hang on, I'll be back in a minute.
Hilarious.
Can I get this thing in a long lead? Fucking bring it down. So bring it here.
That'd be great. No, I think Kirsty is great in the film, not as great in the story. She's one of those characters. And we already talked about her a little bit, but she just didn't really live up to. Like, first of all, she was being super creeped on in both the story. In this, in the film, it was that son of the guy, or like.
Well, and even at the beginning, it was the movers.
Yeah, which I understand. Like, you see a beautiful woman, you get a little creepy. That's my life. That's how I roll. No one else likes it, but I get it. In the story, it was Neville, Rory's work colleague, and he was like really like trying to mac on her, and it just felt weird. Like, at least in the film, she was into the dude with the weird cigarette thing, which I didn't understand.
Yeah, but that's an 80s thing. Doing weird shit in the 80s was
like, I can tie a knot with a cherry stem, and he's like, I can flip a cigarette
through the nostril. The fucking 80s thing was
what?
That was an 80s thing.
I think that was a 90s thing.
Was it?
I remember seeing that in the 90s. Yeah,
that's right, because condoms weren't about. Can't see it. That's right. Condoms became important because of the 80s.
Thank you, 80s.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a video of that from when I was stationed in Germany. We went over on my wife's birthday to my buddy Justin's place, and it's actually on my channel too. And a dude just snorts a condom through his mouth. He's all ha ha, like flossing his sinuses. Pretty gross, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you for the people that do that, so we don't have to.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, at least and they brought him down in the age as well in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
because in the novella he's the same age as Larry, which just
You mean Rory? Rory, not Larry. They changed his name. You guys are looking like I'm talking
Larry's
shit.
not-
I don't think I realized that, to be honest.
No,
with you.
his name's Rory in the book, and it's Larry in the film.
All right,
That's
sorry, yeah. I superimposed that. Yeah, same person.
It doesn't matter. I just making
Yeah.
the comments.
No, that's fair enough, because do you know when you transpose one on the other? 'Cause
Yeah.
I just read the novella yesterday.
Yeah.
I just never. Yeah, I just you just get a. I like Larry better. Larry's a better name.
Oh, definitely. And the actor, I think, is amazing as Larry. Like, I don't remember what I've seen him in before, but he reminds me of
He's
like
one of
some
them
old
actors.
sitcom actor. It's just like I've seen him 1,000 times, but I can't pinpoint one of them. And he
Right.
just fits that dad father role so well. That doting husband who is just too stupid to realize his wife's just not into him.
Mhm.
Oh, it's so good.
Well,
And
and the
thing
thing
is,
I love about him
he's
too
actually
is
the only victim in this.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
The
Everyone
thing-
else has sort of called it upon themselves.
fucking guy.
But Rory / Larry is the only actual innocent.
Yeah.
And in the book, he's portrayed as like having no personality whatsoever.
Mhm.
But because even when they describe a dinner party scene, it's the unreliable narrator. It's
Mhm.
through what's her face's Julia's eyes, and she's just filled with disgust and loathing. But when we actually see it played out, he's personable. He's got friends. Life is all the party sort of thing. So he's happy,
Yeah.
and he thinks that he's doing because we know something's went on, and this is like a last ditch attempt to repair their mouth.
Yeah. I've heard the
last ditch
joke 1,000 times, and I still laugh every time when he's like, "Oh, the cut? It only hurts when I drink." And they're like all drinking in excess. I'm just like, it's such a fun little stupid joke.
Yeah.
It's great. And the actor just delivers the line perfectly. And you just have that sort of image of Julia just all like snidely walking off in the darkness. You're just like, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch? Like, there's
Yeah.
something going on. Like if you were Larry, either of you were Larry, would you not like pull her aside and be like, all right, level with me? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I've been there. You've witnessed.
That's true.
You've borne witness.
There's a whole
to
story.
me fucking wanting the whole. You've both watched me wanting the fucking ground to open up and swallow me because I'm dying of secondhand embarrassment because a certain particular scenes playing out exactly as
Right.
in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
And
I don't know.
And I'm just going.
feel
I don't
bad
know.
because like I like Frank so much. I want to be on his side, but he's so oblivious and he's just I can't get on his side. Do you think is that a good thing for the story so that we just don't like anyone too much? Except for maybe Kirsty because she's hot, but everyone else.
Yeah, but she's not just hot because she's likable and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She plays a completely different character than in the novella because in the novella she's not likable. She's cold.
Yeah.
She's almost like a younger version of Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you in the novella, because she is, there's no redeeming qualities about her.
Right. But I feel like if the father was, I don't think it would played out the way it did if the father was a little bit more, if Larry was a little bit more self-aware.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think he is self-aware, but he's in denial.
Really?
Yeah,
What leads you to believe that?
the whole move to the house, the whole fact that he knows,
Right.
you know what I mean? He knows,
Right.
and he's overcompensating. So
Like, we
he
can make a
thinks
life here.
if I bury my head in the sand, if I put the blinkers on, I can produce enough energy for us both.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And the dinner party shows it. He's
Yes, that's fair.
he's really going for it.
Yeah.
And even that scene where, she's kissing other ones good night and then she gets to him and she just sort of looks at him and he knows.
Mhm.
And then they have that moment of the pause and look at each other. And then when she goes out of the room, he instantly, straight, he puts the mask on again.
See, I don't know. I just always thought that was normal in relationships. Like that's how my wife and I act towards each other.
Jeez. Nope. That is not normal.
Yeah, that's
I feel bad.
Yeah.
no, yeah, he knows, and he's in the.
I think he knows something's up. I don't think he
Yeah.
knows that she's cheating on him. He
Yeah.
suspects something's amiss, especially in the
Yeah,
novel.
he can't get through here because you see the frustration of your like the bedroom scene
Mhm. Yeah.
because he's like, what the hell is this?
You were so coming on to me, and then you tell me to stop. Like, yeah, welcome to marriage.
Yeah.
That's how it always works.
Yeah, sorry, it's the brother with the dead rat. What is it fucking Frank got against rats?
Is that what your takeaway was?
Yeah, like,
He's nailing the walls.
it's proper. And also, I thought rats were clever.
They are usually.
So let's say fucking portal opens from hell and Jizzman fucking comes out and stuff. You're getting out of there. Like your rat brain should be going, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
They can't. The floor's sticky. They get caught.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They should be able to run away, but they're caught in this really viscous goo.
So gross. So gross. Yeah, but there's a lot of rats on that top floor too. No cheese, lots of rats.
I mean, there's some cheese. the forbidden cheese. I mean, that's one of the first things they
Touche.
say as they walk into the house is, man, what's that smell? And it's like, clearly that is man cheese.
Okay.
When you leave it for so long, that's what's going to happen.
Oh.
And why
The
didn't
smell
they
you
get
just need to
right?
get rid of.
I don't think they have financial problems.
No.
I don't think it's ever mentioned in the novella that they have financial problems.
Mm-mm.
Could a fumigator and some decorators have not solved all this shit? We'll move in on Sunday. How about clean the fucking place out? You just watched, you seen them, and where the hell are all these maggots coming from?
At the man cheese.
Fucking maggot! Like there's maggots everywhere. Like
It's
Who
like
the-
Candyman with maggots.
so, if you're looking for fishing bait, now you know where how to get the best stuff, eh? Get out in the garden. None of this worm tapping shit, none of this tapping or like sprinkling water. You just wee bit of knuckle dusting and you got all your bait. They'll come crawling out of the ground.
That's gross. I said just put it on the hook, son. I don't want to touch it, Dad. That's not where it came from.
That's what Kirsty said.
Come
Yeah.
to daddy.
That's this is a trope that Barker has, though. He loves his dirty, grimy places.
Mm-hmm. Love you for it.
And just like maybe you've overdone it a wee bit here. I know you're trying to bring something across, but
Well, I mean, Frank was living there, and it wasn't full of maggots until he disappeared. You know, that's when he was months of that food sitting out on the counters,
Yeah.
and I mean, that's definitely long enough for maggots to take hold.
Oh, yeah.
I just think fucking a fumigating session before they moved in would have after
for
moving in,
sure.
I just like the move in, the place is still a shithole.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's got a good job. They're not doing this for financial reasons, they're doing it to save their marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit that doesn't sit right. It logically doesn't.
Well, that's why I say like the house is very much a character in this film, and that's
Mhm.
why I
Mm-hmm.
reference it as also being a haunted house story. I feel like in this universe, it doesn't matter how much they scrub or steam or clean, it's always going to look like that because that
Yeah.
is just that character's appearance.
Mhm.
And I like that about it. They're like, we're going to ignore the doom and gloom around us. We'll, dust it off and make it look as good as possible. But it echoes the filth that's within the house. The house is a personification of everyone within it. And I like that because you can pretend that everything's okay, like Larry's doing, but underneath that facade, his wife fucking hates him. He knows that he doesn't have a marriage at all. She's probably cheating on, like, under the surface, it all looks like the house. And I love
Yeah.
that action.
I suppose, like I said, just a logical thing. You would easily have taken care of that.
Yeah.
And maybe I probably would have cost a wee bit more in the budget, but a gloss of paint and then watching the paint crack.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the varnish the floor of the damp room and then within a day it just dissolved back into what it was. I think
That'd
that
be
would have
cool.
yeah, that would have given the feeling. But the fact they moved in and it's a shithole still, and it's not because they're broke. If they had moved in because they were broke, it would have made sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just like I said, it's just my logic center stuff. I wouldn't move into it. I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, thank you.
You mean half the movie would be me with fucking bottle of bleach, full of
Just rubber gloves,
fucking hose in the you know what I mean? Sandblasting it.
grabbing the front door and just doing drill noises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, you clean yourself, house.
Yeah, no, but I get it. It's you
Yeah.
know, it's setting the scene. It's just obviously take of a it was only made in a million. Like considering the budget of this as well.
They got a lot out of it.
They really did.
And I know there's a lot of shit talking about the special effects at the very end because they're not really special.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. Like, I'm a child of the 80s. Like, that's what I grew up seeing. So
Right,
I
it's
didn't
still-
think it was.
you had the
It's
80s
funny
lightning.
because that shit's more believable than the fucking cartoons that are Marvel movies nowadays.
Seriously.
Like the little light sperm things that float around all the
Yeah.
time. through
That's
that
so
movie.
that was the 80s. That was used in everything.
Mhm. Hellraiser or Highlander.
Yep.
I mean, everything. It was
Mhm.
great. Great.
Fun times. But yeah, the it's the unhappiness seeps into everything.
Mhm.
And then we even see Kirsty is happy in the film until she gets tainted by the house. Like, think about it. She starts off super positive and happy and bubbly, and the minute she comes in contact with that house and the environment, like her mood changes, starts having nightmares.
Yeah. Those nightmares are great too.
Mhm.
Well, was that first nightmare hers? Because her boyfriend, douchebag McDoucherton, like
He
woke
was
up.
a random, like he wasn't in the novella.
No,
Uh-oh.
I don't
And they
know
just
why
added
they
him
added
in, and it's like, what purpose do you serve?
His whole purpose was to explain her missing from the hospital, I think. So he could have that line, but she
Probably.
was just here. Where did she go? And that was it. It's like we could have put one and one together. We're not
Right.
Yeah, we could have figured it out for ourselves. Yeah,
We did
there's
just watch the same movie.
There's an example of the love interest trope that serves no purpose.
Mhm.
If anything, I just
It's
ran
not even
him
believable.
completely.
Yeah.
Like, there's one thing just I would have changed, just write him out completely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
but-
was unnecessary. Because I mean, especially because this is lumped in with the slashers of the '80s and shit. So it's like the idea of the final girl that's already ingrained. Like we don't need a man to save her because obviously she's gonna save herself.
Yeah. Albeit at a very slow pace.
Running around fucking with a box.
Yeah.
Like, you should run the boat, and then everything just happens at such a slow pace. It's like, okay. And it's almost like they're waiting. Come on, do it. Ah!
The Cenobites are all being supportive.
Yeah.
No, you've almost
can
got
do
it. Keep going.
Don't do that.
Yeah. No, go left to right.
They want to be evil and brooding, but they also just kind of want to nap. So I get it. It's like,
They're
oh
like-
no, don't twist it this way and then push down. No, please.
It's actually one
don't."
thing they did in the sequels was to give Pinhead, Doug Bradley, he got a bit more nuance to his character. You got a bit more conniving.
Yeah.
This initially he's very, dare I say it, a bit robotic.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all that way in this one. But, to be fair, this is like a new thing, I mean, there's no other films to sort of compare that Clive Barker would be, referencing going, well, let's have these other extra dimensional characters act a little bit more lively like X or Y. There was nothing like that. And so he was doing this stiff sort of robotic thing because that's how he was sort of imagining them in his head. Once other directors saw it on screen, they're like, let's have them be a little bit more thoughtful in their vile, expressions in future iterations. And they reference that first portrayal as a jumping off point. And so I can appreciate that. And I didn't mind the fact because it made them feel more extra dimensional, otherworldly. It made them feel like they weren't human. And that's what I didn't like about the second film, is that they humanized the Cenobites. And I don't like that at all. I want them to be those otherworldly things.
Because even in the novella, they're not they're demons. They're they even said them explorers of, extra. The thing is, the only one that gives any sort of sensuality or enjoyment is Deep Throat.
Yeah,
she's the one that's playing and enjoying herself. Like the rest of them just seem to be just here.
Dude, that opening scene, she's literally fingering her throat.
Yeah, that's, that always kind of gets me.
It's so great. There's that scene I keep bringing up in Big Red Cherry Flavor or Brand New Cherry Flavor.
Oh man,
of the side kitty hole,
the side gina.
It's so good, and that's what Frank does in the back of the heads too. It's just like
is that
whole
series?
body's the vagina. No, it's a. Oh yeah, I think it is.
Is that the series about the witch?
Yeah. The novel's infinitely better, of course, but it's still really good.
That was decent.
I still need to read the book.
It'd be worth revisiting and talking about on one of these because it's good.
Ooh, Chris, that's a hard one.
What is it?
It says overall, or as an overall collection, which group of movies do you enjoy more?
Oh, because
and honestly,
I think it would be Kings. Barker's because there's less of them, so you get kicked in the balls less. Where Stephen King,
that's tough.
There's more kicks in the balls.
See, the problem is like you're gonna get more kicks in the balls because there's just more content.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there's more,
like
but you also get your balls tickled more as well. So it's
the good ones are so fucking good that it makes up for the bad ones. But I don't know, like comparing Rawhead Rex to Hellraiser, that's a rough one.
I mean, that's
I gotta go
0
with King,
and
I'm also really biased.
Yeah, that's a bottom and a 4.
Here's an idea: go back through the series of this and kind of see where our painful moments,
our pain points.
Yeah,
we went through our own Cenobite torture sessions.
Yeah,
yes, we did.
Dread was one of them.
I've already blocked that one out of my memory.
I can't. Is that the one where he like captures them and makes the girl eat the?
Yes.
Yeah.
See how long it takes you to chew through this.
Yeah. The book was
yeah, that's a shitty fucking line. There's scenes in that I really.
I just wanted to die at that point. You know when you watch it and you say, "Oh fuck," he didn't just deliver that line. That was actually written like, "Oh fuck," he just did. Oh my god, just end me now. I just had that moment of. I mean, if you were in two minds, that would push you over the edge, getting that fucking line delivered.
I don't know.
There's that one. Harriman.
How's it going, man? Yeah, I mean, I love the referencing of them as being theologians of the Order of the Gash. It's this suggestion of something that is just out there that we can't even wrap our brains around. And it's another reason why though I love the Scarlet Gospels, it did ground it in sort of this Christian mythology or Abrahamic mythology of a hell and Lucifer. And so it also took away from that almost Cthulhu-esque presentation of who and what they are.
But when we did the review of the Scarlet Gospels and we looked at the story behind it, Barker was like almost sabotaging the universe.
Yeah.
That book was a protest.
Yeah, for sure.
And I
think and that's fair. It's just, I don't know. I still fantasize about the Order of the Gash, you know? Like, what is
Yeah,
it?
because there's so much, and
Is there a member
like
card?
the scene with the tower, you know,
Right.
where you had people in the different levels trying to ascend to join the Cenobites order.
Yeah.
You know, there was you could just be in hell and like you're your fodder,
Mhm.
and that's it. You know, you're scurrying around hoping an upper level demon doesn't see you. But then you've got people actually trying to go to, you know, become a Cenobite, which is the next level, and they're starting off like being impaled. You know, do you remember the series Shaka Zulu?
I don't think so.
That were basically the impale. You know, I think that could have been brought into this. There's this thing where he impales his enemies, and they're all just out in the field, you know, at different stages,
Oh, right.
and it's brutal.
Yeah.
Some of that transposed into this, maybe getting a hint of the torture, because you don't really get a hint of the tortures. All we get is Frank coming back. I don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
And we don't get a reason why, because yeah, he gets ripped apart, but you don't get the idea of what happens afterwards that would make it worse.
Well, that's why I liked the novella, because it was very much the engineer was just sitting there waiting for his turn. And as soon as he had his like experience of all of the pleasures and pain that he could experience, now it's the engineer's turn to get his on, you know?
Mhm.
And it was so great with that torturous element and stuff, just having that head on his lap and stuff. Oh, guys. And talk about a disparity of characters. The engineer in the novella compared to the engineer in the film. What the fuck?
That made no sense.
I don't even know what it was. Is it like a weird scorpion cockroach thing? Like
It was something just to go ooga booga, wah, you know.
I don't even mind the visible cart that it's being pushed on in the scene as much as I dislike the character design or the creature design.
And it's so abrupt too that it's just like, did I just change the channel accidentally?
You go from the Cenobite imagery, which is just like majestic and horrifying, to is that a turd? Is it like a piece of
even the bit at
poo?
the end when he's like, it's like,
Yeah,
this is a brainless creature. Why?
Mhm.
it's so strange. And at the end of the novella, it's the engineer that's like all in a hoodied up, you know, and is like giving her. Wait, it was the box.
He
that it gave
hands
her.
her the box.
Yeah, like you're the
because
owner
she
now.
had to pass it on.
Yeah. And instead of just being this weird slug creature with little baby hands.
Yeah. And the eyes, man, the eyes get me.
Yeah.
It's like, why you gotta pull into that? It's like, cool, we get it. It's a live thing.
It's an alien? I don't know. Is it a fish?
Yeah. That's where kind of, but this is, I think, where you just have to take it as a horror movie and just be like, okay, yeah, it's the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that was really fucking scary in '87 when that came out.
Oh yeah, that would have just.
I don't know. It's silly no matter what. It's just it's silly. It's trying to slap fight Kirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, come here, I want to slap your titties.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was. I think what it was the lack of intelligence. You see the intelligence. You know, that's frightening thing when you've got an intelligent entity that's deliberately messing with you because that's what they do, and they're doing to see how far they can push you. That's terrifying. But when you got something just going, bruh, you're like, really?
Yeah. I mean, to your point about saying how would it have benefited from seeing a little bit more of what Frank experienced? I don't think it would have. I think leaving it to our imagination, because how everyone's interpretation of pleasure and pain is so distinctly different that if they just showcase something, you know, most people would be like, that's not pleasurable at all. And you're like, well, that's kind of the point. Then they don't understand that. And then, you know, you have to then try to show some sort of like, O face during the pain. It ends up looking shitty and weird. And, you know, you just can't really sell the idea. It's like a great monster film. You rarely see the monster, as you already mentioned, Cameron. So I think you don't show the pleasure and pain except for the end result of him being ripped apart and him being so terrified to go back and we already were set up with him being the ultimate searcher of pleasure. Yeah. If he doesn't even want to go back, it's got to be bad. So.
So much
I kinda
so he
bought it.
couldn't kind of bar soap that just became secondary. It was weird. The whole fingernails thing as well. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's just. But I suppose again in the novella, explained he's like fucking robbing and transporting drugs and being a mule and all just anything to base himself
Mhm.
to go find these places to get to Morocco. And they even explains why he never has money because he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hold on to anything because he just once again it's just emptiness.
Mhm.
Which
Just after the experience.
yeah, it was funny though when Julia finds the racy pictures, the Polaroids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. That's
You're like, there's worse than OnlyFans today.
there's worse on Facebook. Like fuck. Yeah.
Wait,
ugh.
really? I need to get on Facebook.
No,
No,
you
you
don't.
don't.
Just avoid that shit. Lucky son of a bitch.
Talking me
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah, that's weird platform.
Mhm. But if there's
No.
little Julias on it being like, I thought the Polaroids were less to be salacious and more to instill her jealousy and her remembering of
Mhm.
that moment of passion that she's so empty from her current relationship.
Yeah.
You know, just the vile expression of it, like, ooh, I'm cheating on my to-be husband with his brother. Ooh, it's so gross. And like the whole time in the film, he's like, she's all, I'll do anything. He's like, anything? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna have missionary sex then.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
we're gonna keep the lights on this time, baby.
and that's what defends in the. That's what this movie could defend in descend into farce because
Mhm.
I would know what Barker's like because he frightens people with his fucking kinkiness. He's a fucking dirty rat, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he revels in it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do you think somebody's on his shoulder going, no, Clive, no, you can't do that. You can't do that, Clive.
Oh, if he
well,
tried to do
banned.
that kind of shit, yeah, no, they'd be like, motherfucker, we're not making 120 days in Solo. Just go fuck yourself.
I don't even know that reference.
Oh, whew. All right.
Okay.
I think
guess I'm gonna have to find it.
Links will be following afterwards.
yeah.
I hope everyone has the dark web.
One character I didn't get my head around was the Vagrant.
Injected just for the film to be the hander off.
Yeah, and the whole fucking turning into a dragon at the end. It's like,
That was weird. That was weird.
yeah,
Weird
I
choice.
always forget that happens, and it's always so jarring. Like, wait, why did that happen?
There was a lot of like fantasy back in the 80s, like a lot of fantasy shows. So in my head, like I was watching Krull and I was watching Dragon Slayer and Conan the Barbarian. So you show me
Beast
like a
Masters.
skeletal
Yeah.
dragon and I'm in. So as a kid watching this, I was just like, fuck yeah, what a crazy cool ending. As an adult, I'm just like, what? Like, where did that come from? Like, why?
Like honestly, this could have been I think just tied up. I think they went over the top at the end with the house collapse and everything else. Or just the way it went. If they had just had her like left the box and just got out of the house and then the box appeared in Morocco again, we didn't need to see it.
Yeah, or just have her carry the box out and we leave it like the novella. She has the box. We don't know what happens to it. It doesn't matter. All we know is she has this gateway portal to something that's horrible. And she now, if she has to keep it closed, or else they're going to come and try to get her again or something.
Does Kirsty come back for Hellseeker?
Is that the one? She does come back for one, but she's only in it to be murdered at the beginning. She's in the car with the insurance guy, like the Calamity insurance guy in all the commercials, modern day commercials. Anyway, I can't remember his name, but she's in the car. They go off the edge, and the whole setup is that he did that intentionally to murder her so that he could inherit her fortune, which I don't know where that came from because the house doesn't look like it's all that. But apparently Frank had tons of money that she inherited because she was the only family left or something like that.
Because
So that was the setup.
we seen her in a psychiatric ward in 3. Like there's tapes
Right.
played and it's her. But I saw an alternate scene last night, just popped up on YouTube of her and Pinhead talking, and the fact that he's talking about her being connected to him and he's not going to stop until he gets her. And I'm like, I don't remember her ever being in the rest of them.
She was only
That's
in
her
one.
older. And it's like,
It was 1, 2, and then the very end one, I think was like number 8 or something like that. Or maybe it was like 6. I don't remember them talking like that though. It was always
that
just
is an
her.
alternate scene. That's what I mean. It's just
okay.
it just popped up. I should have clicked the link and or added into this, but like I said, only watched it. Like popped up recently. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I don't need intimate connections between these characters. I
Is
mean,
that the mistake they started making like 90s and
100%. You try to universify every damn story. Like this is the monster universe. This is the Marvel like just to like give it up. Just focus on a good story and let it just stand on its own.
Right? It's not necessary. There's things called one shots and they work real fucking well.
Yeah, Frank did it and he brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
Just one shot on the ground.
I don't know. Do you really think it was only one shot? Because I feel like he doesn't look like he's very hydrated. So to produce enough to create that much, like it's got to be multiple sessions.
Ew. You imagine the smell of that room.
Oh yeah. I mean, when they call it the damp room, like
I smelled this movie. Like I've smelled this movie, watching it, I'm like,
so bad.
Ah,
dear.
We can't leave it on that note.
Sure we can.
Yeah.
Right, we'll leave it on this note. How many loads do you think he actually dumped on the floor before he passed?
Had to be at least 5.
I would, I was going to say 5.
Novella describes quite.
Yeah,
he was there for a bit.
He dribbled out some during the torture too. Like there was a moment where he was getting like the mental pleasures, but the pain from the body, and it just resulted in like a little, like a sorrow jizz.
You finished streaming. Now we can begin.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I wonder how much of it was Barker's, offset when nobody was looking.
I don't know, man.
And then he probably told him about it afterwards because that would be like something he would do.
Right.
Add a wee bit of his own and go, I put some I'll keep referring to Midnight Meat Train when he had the interview with the director.
Yeah.
When he's so fucking talking about how he's fucking borrowed Mahogany's suit in between takes to take it home.
Yeah, that's great.
And then the director,
I just loved wearing that apron without a shirt on. It just felt so good.
No, for sex play, he took it back for sex play. He was telling the director, you could actually, even though it was audio, you could actually hear the director shuffling, like never fucking change.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't think we ever cleaned those. Like ever.
I want to see an interview with Vinnie Jones going, do you know what you were wearing? Do you know what happened in between fucking days and
set? Yeah, I had to be put on a month of antibiotics.
He's like, I didn't understand why until I saw that interview.
But yeah, even the whole thing with a thing I noticed as well, I realized she didn't. In the hospital, she has this whole freak out after she escapes the first time and like has her pass out. And the doctor's like, yeah, we'll get you a phone, no brawler. And then 2 seconds later, she turns around and there's a phone on the bed on the thing.
He said they were gonna get her a phone.
No, but he walks out, closes the door, and the phone's there. You're like, and then she starts playing with it.
Just
he
throw
sets
in
the box down, and then his phone appears next to the box as he closes the door. Like, that was quick. And then she ignores the phone and just starts playing the puzzle box.
Like those sort of set dressing like continuity errors are something that are a result of in the editing room, because I'm sure because this had 2 different editors in it. Like they cut this thing multiple times. I bet you there were filler scenes in there that they just cut out just for pacing. And that's why it ended up all weird like that. But stuff like that, I mean, that's in every film, you know?
Yeah,
there's
but
like always.
Why didn't she get ripped apart? Everyone that's opened the box gets pulled apart with their chains.
That's what I loved about this, because with 1 and 2, the narrative that was structured around that is it doesn't matter if you open the box, it's the intention. It's you wanted the pleasure and pain. And that's why in number 2, when Pinhead comes in and he sees the little girl with the box, he's like, no, not her. She, you know, it's not who opens the box. And that's why in later subsequent editions, they totally cut that out. And they're just like, no, it's whoever opens the box gets hurt. I was just like, no, like there's actually a reason for it. And I like that reason. It's the desire. It's the fervent need of having that heightened experience that draws the Cenobites from their.
Were they trying to convince her? She had to say, yes, I'll come with you. She had the chance to say no because she hadn't desired to open it. In fact, it was done better. And the novella would say, oh, you open the box and it happens sometimes. You know, they were kind of, and then they start negotiating. So she could have just said, no, I'm not going with you. And that would have been it. But she didn't know.
Yeah.
Is that what,
I believe it.
I mean, it's a hollow way of presenting it, because it seems like, oh, well, it's that easy, but that's always been a deal with the devil,
right.
You know?
Who encounters demonic, you know, entities every the other life on the.
And that's the whole draw, is that because they're not, you know, it's not a normal thing, they can lie to you and convince you that something that you could easily just walk. Freddy Krueger, you just turn away from him and disbelieve him and he disappears. Don't sign your soul to the devil, because you don't sign the bottom line and you don't have to live in eternal damnation. Like, it's so easy to get out of these situations.
Yeah.
But you don't know, because you've never experienced it before in that mythology. And that's what I love so much about it, is they're actively trying to trick her into becoming a victim, because that's what they just desperately want to taste. And she unknowingly is refusing. You know, she could easily just say, no, I don't think so, and just close the box up again. But instead, she makes a deal to get, trying to save her dad and get rid of this fucking potential cheating dude that's like ruining the family in the film anyway. I don't know. I dug it. I like that.
Yeah, it was just an interesting one that didn't, her experience was completely different, because we saw what happened when Frank opened the box. We saw what happened when Julia opened the box.
Yeah.
And when Kirsty did it, and then it was almost like you have to come with us. Almost like, please come with us. Please say yes. So we, it's like,
right.
We need this loophole closed. And that's, maybe that explains the stiffness of them, because they're bound by rules. But we're never explained what the rules are.
Yeah.
So we're almost trying to guess what there's a game being played here, but we don't know what's happening, because it's not a slasher movie. It has the look of a slasher movie, but there's something more going on.
There's another allegory to relationship, the idea of going out on the dating scene, like a blind date or something. In your mind, all you want is to lure this person back to your home so you can fuck them, right? Like, that's your goal. I want to go out and get a date and fuck. And so you're doing your best to trick them. So all they have to say is, no, I don't want to. And that's it. And that's exactly what these Cenobites are doing. They're trying to lure her home for a date. And she's just like, you smell like cum.
It still probably wouldn't be the worst date I've ever been on.
This is true, actually. At least they're dedicated to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris.
Yeah, Chris, that's just called foreplay, dude.
How did you ever fill the prom twice?
What?
Is it, or what are you? The stroller, the stroller, man, the stroller.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, very confused.
Chris, he's managed to. He keeps saying all this stuff, but he's managed to fill the buggy a couple of times. Like, you must have done something.
Yeah,
accidentally.
I think Chris is one of those guys that like downplays it, but really he's like swinging a hammer. You know, he's like he's like knocking teeth back in when he's going at it. So yeah, he's just a little self-deprecating.
I think he wears booby tassels.
And he gets them going in different directions.
Showing off.
It's like that's how he like hypnotized her. He's just like
don't look at my eyes, look at the left nipple, look at the right nipple. So this way, it's go that way. You're going this way, you're going that way. Come to me, baby.
As soon as her pupils start doing that, he's got her. That's how it works.
Once the googly eyes start, that's it. He's in.
He's like, I can have a baby now.
Yeah, there's a lot of sexual innuendo because this is a Clive Barker. You know, it wouldn't be Clive Barker because he just throws it in there. It's funny how modern people try to talk about sex and they're so boring about it.
I mean,
there's a playfulness. Like, this is horrifying, but there's a playfulness as well. Like, Clive Barker's playfulness is in this. He's like, I'm going to mess with you, and I'm going to love it. And you're going to love it. And you're going to feel dirty afterwards. And you're going to feel dirty, and I'm going to revel in it because I'm still going to be fine.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those films where you can easily, like, draw a line down the middle and say, okay, everyone who gets it this way, I understand and I can communicate with those people. If you watch this and you're like turned off and you're like, oh, this is fucking, I don't understand. This is gross and weird. I will never understand you as a human.
Yeah.
Like, it's an A-B thing. You either get it and you're in, or you don't and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those. Like, I feel like any other horror film you can watch, like any other slasher or whatever, you're just like, okay, well, not my cup of tea, or I dug this or whatever. But this is like, you either dig Hellraiser or you just don't.
Yeah. You either love it or you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Or you are not covered in cum.
And I think that's just a good way to finish off. You know, on the final stroke of this review and this series. No, I'm glad we left this one the last because we had to. It was a must. Once we decided we're going to do this series, this was going to be the one to finish it off because, yeah, what a movie.
Yeah,
and the fact that you can still just pop it on and still get taken to places.
Yeah, for real.
Like, I know we're roughing on them like little errors, but bloody hell.
Yeah, no, this is one that I watch at least a couple of times a year because it's just so fucking good.
And then you accidentally stick on all the sequels because you just have to. And you don't sleep for a night. And
I'm not that much of a masochist.
I just forget myself every so often. It's just like, why is it 5 o'clock in the morning? Oh shit!
Yeah, shit. That was me last night. It's like, oh, it's 12:30. I should go to bed. Maybe I'll watch it before we record. Going to bed at fucking 2 a.m. It's like, huh? Well, that happened.
I just have to. It's not time wasted.
No, fuck
no. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. And if you've only watched the film, give the novella a chance. It's really short.
Yeah, it's classic Barker. Like, it's 168 pages, but the print's like this big. Yeah. You'll finish it in like 3 hours.
Yeah, this is a one shot read, and this is a perfect example of tight storytelling and no fluff, no pretentiousness. Just, I want to tell a good story. There's a good story. Read it. You know, that's all it is.
It's so good. And it's totally worth your time too. It won't take a lot of it, and it's going to leave you wanting more from this universe. And I think the what's so special about it, and also what's so terrible about it, as sort of a closing thought on my end, is that it sets you up for wanting more, but you never get more. Even the sequels, it's just not good enough. You know, it's not that lightning in the bottle, like Colin said at the very beginning. And you're still wanting more. Even you'll sit through some shit films just because you want more, because that
you want another taste.
So
it's that
good.
First hit that we talked about.
Yep.
It's, you get that first hit and you want it again, and you get that little tingle when you see them arrive, and you hear the bells. You know the.
Oh, we didn't even mention. I want to mention the name of the music guy. So cinematography I thought was great. Robin Vidgain, I don't know, but the music by Christopher Young. This music is amazing.
Now, Barker wanted to go with a fucking electronic.
Yeah,
Fun.
Coil or something like that.
But
Yeah, and I'm really glad they didn't.
this would have,
It would have been different.
yeah,
It would have
100%.
dated the movie.
Oh yeah.
Whereas with this, like having just a very subtle, haunting score,
Mhm.
it works so much better. They
And
can
the
go with
sound
any era,
effects.
really.
That little like sound thing.
Oh yeah,
God, all of it's so good.
it's like a radio being turned, or or
Yeah, I don't even
being
know how they
tuned in
did
there,
it, but it's weird.
one of those sounds. But it takes you into Hellraiser. You know, you hear that,
Mhm.
you hear the bells, you're there,
Yeah,
and that's people can't do it anymore.
I certainly haven't seen anything like it.
Mm-mm.
No, people just can't.
I mean, Dennis
Yeah.
Villanueva, or however the hell you say his last name,
Villeneuve, oh,
his sound effects and soundtracks in his films are like next level. So I think there are filmmakers who take the time to make sure it's done right, but it's so rare that
yeah, it's. But I think we were spoiled in the 80s.
Yeah.
decade of
Definitely.
decadence. I mean,
Yeah, but that was, you know what I mean? It was the birth of so many things, and then everybody else is just rinsing and repeating now and trying to go back. And it's like,
Mhm.
what?
yeah.
But this is happy times. This is happy times because we'll always have this.
Oh,
And no
yeah.
matter what fad or fashion or whatever miserable little shite tries to make a movie these days, we can always just stick this back in the player again and
Yep.
just remember that we're better than you.
Yep.
It's true. It's true. You may not like it, but it's true.
Yeah. But on that happy note, right, we three will be together again, but we'll be on Adam's channel for our next, unless we do something random in between, but
Yeah, in a month.
month's time, which will bloody, like, this month's already halfway, like hitting halfway point, so it won't
Yeah,
be
it's
long.
crazy. I can't wait because I would love to inject, especially with some of the people that are going to be on it with us. There's going to be some filth and goofiness and silliness, but like like the Evil Dead game that we ran through, there was some perversion and just sort of gore and stuff. So we're going to get a little bit of that too. It should be fun.
Yeah, man. Super stoked.
Yep, absolutely. Don't have me hitting on any of the women players again.
Hey, this is your character. This is
That was
all
about-
you. You do what you do.
Hold on, I was following your instructions last time, and then that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I gave everyone
Where's this
little
coming from?
notes.
Like, Ian
like-
told me to. Sorry.
Well, that's the challenge. You have to like weave it in. But I gave everyone little notes like, hey, here's some ideas on your character, things that you can explore. Some people explored them, some people didn't.
Yeah, I think we'll hopefully. I think we're all on the same page this time. We're just that's where we're heading. You know.
Yeah.
We want to just fucking push the boat out a bit. I'm looking forward to it. I'm like
It's gonna
been
be
annoying you with like loads of it. How good on the radio? Am I?
good.
Fuck's sake, calm down.
Simmer down. You still got a month.
That'll be
Don't
fun.
blow your load yet.
Yeah. But yeah, looking for that. We'll be together again, and we'll have a few others, and yeah, we're gonna raise some hell.
Yeah.
But on that note, keep updated the channel, do the typey clicky things, and until next time, keep it creepy,
Keep
it
it
horrific.
horrific.